Hi, I'm Hayley from Craft Yourself Silly, and welcome to Back to Basics. So one of the things that I think catches a lot of people out with the machines is tension. So on this particular machine, the tension dial is just on the top there. Now, as I wheel it round, you can see there's one section on it that is got a bit of a line on it, and that's generally the manufacturer's indication that that's the sweet spot, that's where you want to be. And that's usually between about 4-ish, 4.5. So what we're going to do is just take a piece of fabric and do some test stitches so you can understand how tension works on your machine. The tension on this machine is currently set to about 4.5, 5, and that's what I would normally have it on. Now I've got a zigzag stitch on here. It's actually a satin stitch, which just means a really close together zigzag stitch. And this is a great way to check if your tension is correct. So I'm going to stitch a few at that. And I've got a light colour on the top and a dark colour on the bottom thread, so you can see the change as it happens. So then if I just stitch another little section with the tension set to 0, so that's the tension on the top thread really loose, and then I'll move it all the way up to number 9, which will tighten the tension on the top and allow more of the bottom thread to come through. So I'll take these off and we'll have a quick look at the result. So this section here, this is the section that we had the tension set to about 4.5, 5, and you can see it's mostly green and you've got these odd little bits, specks of black coming through. Now that's about perfect if you are using the same colour top and bottom. The next section you can see where it's all the green thread, if I flip it over, you'll see how much of the green thread it's actually pulling through to the back, and that's because the thread on the top is really loose and the thread on the bottom is compensating and tightening it up. And then the last section you can see on the back, it's all black thread because the tension on the top thread is pulling in so tightly that we can barely see any green on the top there because it's just squeezing everything in. But what that's also doing, is you can see at the bottom there, it's also pulling the fabric in. So tension's a really important thing to get the hang of, but I think if you do a little test strip like that, you get to understand how the tension works a lot more. But generally for most fabrics, I would say stick to about 4, 4.5 and you'll be spot on. So tension's really important, and it will change depending on your fabric. So it's well worth having a little practice stitch, something like that zigzag that we've just done, and you'll understand the tension on your machine better.